Hey everybody, before we get started, I just want to remind you that this episode is brought to you by our patrons, like Neander. If you like what we do and want to see us do more, consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and lots of other goodies. And it would really help us out. Thanks for your support. Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's time once again to talk about Star Wars Legion by Fantasy Flight Games. Fantasy Flight's really keeping me busy this week. I gotta go shoot an X-Wing video after this, so look forward to that on the channel. I'm super urgent in mood, but anyway. Yes. So let's talk about two new unit expansion announcements. Shocking everybody. We thought it was going to be neutral announcements like terrain, but I guess they've had this one in their back pocket for a while, because this is number 14 and 15. So, hey, there's that. And what we're talking about is the 1.4D, I don't know, is it like turret? Power turret? 1.4 FD laser cannon team. There it is. There's a lot of greebles in that name. AKA that one dish turret thing from Empire. And then we also got the E-Web team announced. Drastically figure out where my, E-Web Heavy Blaster. Sorry, my control setup's a little goofed up today. Anyway, so we're going to talk about both of those real quick. I figured because basically the entirety of both expansions is spoiled. We get the card fan for both cards, and then we know what all three upgrades are. And yes, there are only 3 upgrades in this pack. It's fair to just go ahead and get them both out of the way all at once. So let's talk about it. And because the 1.4 FD, I got to come up with a simpler way to say that, just because that's the numbers and letters then just don't roll off the tongue. Anyway, the laser cannon pack is numbered first. We'll cover that one first. Alright, so the laser cannon. Pretty simple. So this is a support class unit, so this will be competing with your AT-RT, and I think it competes well in terms of what you want. You just have to figure out what you're going for. It's 70 points, single mini. You get 6 health, 2 courage, so this is not a vehicle, this is an emplacement, which means that it will apply to all trooper keywords and also anything with emplacement, which is cool. They have Surge to Hit and Surge to Block, which is good for their white die defense. Like I said, 70 points. They have the Comlink upgrade and what I'm going to call the Generator upgrade, as you'll see why when we cover the upgrades in a second. They have 3 weapon choices and 3 keywords. So unit keyword is full pivot, so they can, when they pivot, you can pivot up to 360. It makes sense for a turret. They have Sentinel, which is a new keyword. Your standby range is 1 to 3. That's really kind of weird. Well, I mean, they couldn't shoot anybody anyway, but still, like, it's a little rough that the other standby heavy unit doesn't have that. And then they have a keyword we've seen before, stationary. That's right. The terrain pack, not the terrain pack, but the priority supplies, battlefield expansion pack, which includes some objective markers, which could also be considered terrain. I talked about the stationary with the advanced positions deployment card. I think it is. That basically gives everybody, including your stationary units, Scout 1. So you can scooch them a little after deployment. Very useful if you need to, figure out exactly where these guys want to go. But yeah, they're stationary entirely the entire time. That didn't really make sense. Anyway, you know what I mean. Once they are in position, barring the brief use of a card we know, a battle card, and then maybe some bonuses later, because obviously they're doing a thing. They cannot move except to pivot, but they get a full pivot, which is good. And then they have, oddly enough, a 2 black die unarmed attack. That's right, the 2 rebel guys on this can punch you. They have 2 DH-17 blaster pistols, because there's 2 guys. There's a spotter and an operator, a gunner. So that's 4 white dice at range 1 to 2 in all the rest. And then the actual laser cannon itself, because it's a laser cannon team, has impact 2 is range 1 to 4 and is 5 black dice with surge to hits. And I believe if I remember my order of operations right, it's been a while since I had to double check. I think you convert surges and then apply keywords, so technically that's very useful for anti-armor, because you got impact 2. Very useful. We'll talk about the upgrades in a second, but just in general, this is a solid anti-armor option for rebels. I believe it's more expensive than a base or AT-RT. Yeah, it is. But you get a decent health out of it. You gotta worry about suppression a little, and they don't have any defensive keywords, but you get quite a lot of range. Say you're playing something like a breakthrough objective, or one of those objectives where an objective marker is inevitably placed right in front of your deployment zone. One of these things can very easily keep you at range, and of course, with that 1 to 4 and then that standby 1 to 3, you can get some real distance on this thing if you see enemy armor cut. Either if it's a mirror match, AT-RTs, or of course the dreaded AT-ST. Let's see, I think your max is 3 supports, so you definitely have to pick carefully. I would say unless you're planning a defensive heavy strategy, you probably only want to play 1 of these and then 2 AT-RTs if you're going full support roster, or maybe 1 and 1. But that's obviously up to you. Heavily depends on what your deck choice are, because remember, the official tournament rules came out, and a blue player is the one with the battle deck, so keep that in mind. Alright, let's move on to the E-Web team. So the E-Web Heavy Blaster team is the Imperial equivalent, and you'll notice this is actually, I think, a slight departure from the normal Imperial methodology. I expect Imperial players will enjoy it, though. So this is another support slot, which means it competes with speeder bikes. It is a 1 miniature unit. It's got only 4 health, 2 less than the heavy laser team, but the same courage value, too. It has a red defense die, because they're snowtroopers, technically. And then it's got a surge to crit icon. Very useful. And the important thing to note is these guys are 55 points. So they are a significantly cheaper option than speeder bikes. So if you normally ran like 3 speeder bikes, which is probably a pretty good pull for Imperials, you could definitely open up some room for upgrades and stuff if you, say, dropped 2 sets of speeder bikes and then 1 E-Web team. And why might you want to do that? Well, they've got the comms and the generator upgrade, as the laser cannon does. They have the full pivot move. They have Sentinel also, but they have 2 different keywords talking about their movement. They are not stationary. Instead, they are plotting. During your activation, you can only perform 1 standard move. And then reposition is a new one. Either before or after you perform a standard move, you may perform a free pivot action. And of course, because they have full pivot procs, they can full pivot. Also, they're speed 1, so they're not fast. They can only move once at 1 speed, much like snowtroopers. But when you do move, you automatically get to free pivot, and then you have an action free, which you use to stand by. And I think I'd have to double check on the FAQs and stuff, but I'm pretty sure the clarification was that you can stand by into firing a cumbersome weapon, because cumbersome says during the same activation you cannot fire and move, and yes, spoilers, the E-Web Heavy Blaster itself is a cumbersome weapon, but we'll get into that in a second. So I think that gives you some real utility. You can scooch them a little, and then automatically pivot to face the direction you want, and then stand by. So they also have the 2 die unarmed, black, though that's slightly more vicious with crits. They have E11 blaster rifles, range 1 to 3, but are only 2 white dice, so they have half the dice, but an extra range band. Very useful if somebody sneaks up in one of your blind spots. And then, of course, the E-Web itself is also only range 1 to 3, but it's got red, black, black, white, white, and it's cumbersome. So not as good at anti-armor, though obviously remember they do have surge and crit, so that means there's 2 natural crit faces basically on each die. And then, of course, you've got red dice, a red die, and some black dice. So it's fairly accurate. You're talking about bringing a lot of firepower on infantry, especially since you can, as I said, scooch these guys around the battlefield. They're not going to be your fast movers like bikes are, but definitely good for defensive options. If you don't need to move anywhere, much like the heavy laser, you can literally just, aim standby, recover standby, because we'll talk about what these guys can do that's expendable, and just fort up. Hell, you can even dodge. They got a red defense die. They're nimble, but still, geez. They're real good, I think, at being more balanced. And actually, I believe people have done the math, technically, on the 5 dice, but with 1 being red and then 2 being white, in this case with the E-Web, and then the laser cannon being all black. They have the same number of expected hits, though obviously, technically, the E-Web is slightly more likely to crit because they're surges to crits. But the laser cannon has impact. So I think it shakes out. Their actual offensive power is similar. The E-Web is a little more reliant on that defensive die because they've only got the 4 wounds, and their range is a little shorter, but they can actually move to adjust their range. God help you if there are Imperial snipers trying to pick off your turret team from beyond range 4. Or, because you're a trooper unit and can get suppressed, if there's an ATST, wiggling up on a hill somewhere throwing mortars at you, then you're in real trouble. Let's talk about the upgrades. So the reason why I called this the generator upgrade should become very apparent now. We know that both of these packs have all 3 of the same upgrade cards because they're completely spoiled, which is unusual for FFG, but like I said, I think they've had this one in their pack pocket for a while. So first up, let's talk about the Barrage Generator, which has the Snowtroopers. So this is an exhaustible card. It's 10 points. And it says, while performing a ranged attack with a weapon that has fixed, add 2 white dice to the attack and apply suppressive to you. So this is an anti-infantry upgrade. You add 2 white dice, so the accuracy is not great, but it adds suppressive, which means they take a suppression token regardless of any other hits you roll. And, with some surges and maybe some aims, very useful. Also important to note that because our dear friends are fixed and mostly unable to move, it's entirely likely that with their various either action efficiency or not needed to move at all, you'll be able to actually take the recover action on these units. Because, guess what? If your laser cannon is in the full pivot position, is in the pivot position it needs to be, you can totally recover and then stand by if the guys are coming into your field of fire. Similarly, because you move and pivot as the E-Web, you could totally take a recover in there somewhere if you needed to. Or if you're if you're already in position, you can just recover and stand by. Barrage will probably see the most use on the E-Webs, but I could see possibly a mixed build with laser cannons, because it just gives them a couple more dice to throw, and the suppressive function can be very useful if you have to shoot it in. And so the other generator we have in these packs is the Overcharge Generator, which is, again, exhaustible. It's also 10 points, so basically the choice is, what do you want to use? And this says, when performing a ranged attack with a weapon that has fixed, add 1 black die, and apply impact 1 to your attack pool. So this is your anti-armor option, more armor pen. So it gives, for example, the laser cannon another black die to the pool, beefing up that damage, and another conversion with impact. So that can be quite punchy, I think, when it comes to armor, because you're talking about 6 dice with surge to hit. I haven't double-checked the probability on the dice in a while, but that's still fairly accurate, and then, like I said, that would move impact to 3, and then you would convert more. Also, theoretically, though, not to feel left out, Empire, if your E-Web needs to shoot at armor for any reason, adding an impact 1 with those very excellent dice and the fact that you already have a surge to crit just helps balance out your accuracy and the potential that you'll get a couple of scratch damage. Considering Rebel AT-RTs aren't that tough, you definitely might find it, because it's a cheaper baseline, you definitely might find it a useful upgrade. And like I said, you might actually have room to recover, plus Veers. Not really much else to say about Overcharge Generator. I do find it interesting that FFG seems to have telegraphed a little, because this is clearly Rebels with a generator, and then Barrage is Imperials. But anyway, let's move into the comms upgrade. And so lastly, we have the HQ uplink upgrades. This is a comms upgrade. This is also exhaustible. It's also 10 points, so it's tied with long-range comms. And basically, it reads, during the issue order step of the command phase, to yourself. So, kind of handy. It's the same effect, sort of, as long-range scanners, in that you can obviously always get that order token but it's basically an extra order. But then, of course, it's exhaustible. I could see it on maybe the Special Forces groups, because this is also going to come with them, and I think with Boba Fett and Han. There might be some things to do with, like, commanders who issue orders to units to get some extra stuff in there, but I'm not sure that necessarily synergizes. In general, though, I think it works pretty good for the turrets, because both of the weapon teams, the weapon emplacements, have the opportunity to refresh, probably, to recover, I should say, and get these back. And it's a great way, if they're sitting off on their own, just holding a position, to be able to give them activations without necessarily keeping your more mobile units from being able to move. Could be quite useful. Like I said, same cost as long-range comm links, so you might see it in some places where you would normally do long-range comms, just because you technically get one more order out of it. Can be useful, but not super breaking the bank. And that is it. That is the 2 new Emplacement Trooper unit expansions, the laser cannon and the E-Web Heavy Blaster. No, I'm going to stop trying to say the thing with the numbers, because it's killing me. Honestly, basically all of these are spoiled, so I'll expect to see them on, like, Tabletop Simulator pretty quick. People can probably try them out, see how useful they are. I think they've got some good tactical, strategic use, that sort of stuff. Like, you can definitely plan around them, and of course, then your opponent has to think about what they have to do, depending on your battle card choices. But also, yes, this is going to be super dependent on what you pick for deployments and for objectives. Lost that word there for a second. Sorry, been a while since I had to talk about Legion. And yeah, that's that. Should expect Han and Commandos previews sometime. The priority supplies and the barricades has to come out relatively soon, I think. But that's cool. And yeah, we'll just get more to that. There's nothing more to say here. So it's time to just go ahead and wrap the video up. If you like this video, give it a like. If you have any comments, what you're going to do with turrets of either kind, go and leave those in the comment section down below. You can also join our Discord for regular community interactions, live with people, maybe get some other stuff. And also, don't forget to subscribe if you're new here and haven't already. And also don't forget to hit the bell for notifications. Great way to keep track of our videos as they come out. Also consider supporting us on Patreon. You can get access to episodes early and other stuff, like Discord integrations, other special features. And just also, it really helped me out and made me feel better about life. Also consider buying our merch. Not that any of it's Legion related right now. Still haven't fixed that. Gonna figure that out one of these days, how to make a shirt that's Star Wars without being Star Wars and getting me sued to the ground by Disney. Anyway, gonna let you guys go. I will see you in the next video. Just, dig in and get ready to pivot. Do some sick spins.